Hey everybody, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It is July the 7th, 2021. It's about like 2:10 p.m. here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I hope everybody's hanging in there. I just wanted to do a short video because I saw this on going through my Twitter last night, and it's a really good letter that Karen Stewart wrote, and we need to be listening to what she's saying we should do, which hashtag DOD, hashtag write to the DOD, use this in total or in part, or write your own, just write, right? You see that, just write. We just need to send in testimonies to the State Department, and then these two addresses that she has to um, the Secretary of Defense and the Office of the Inspector General. I want to go ahead and read it because the wording's really good. Um, and I have like I'm working on my email for the State Department. I think I'm going to use some of this wording on that one, and then I might just completely use what she has here and send it to these two addresses, right? Um, let's see what else. Let me just read it to you guys, right? I'm sorry, I've been like my mom, my aunt are trying to get everything out of my grandma's house. So I was going through like a lot of my grandpa's clothes, which this is one of my grandpa's shirts, and a little bit tired from like carrying stuff and everything like that, and the targeting. Like it. Well, I'll talk about this after I read the letter. Let me read this letter real quick. So she's sending, these are the two addresses, and this is the template for the letter, right? But you just take the template for the letter, and you just send it to each of these, right? And put these addresses on the envelope, and have one of these right on top. And then I guess you guys that aren't in America, you need to find your kind of who your Department of Defense is, right? And then Secretary of Defense and Office of Inspector General. We just really need to be sending all of our testimonies, and an awesome subscriber sent me some articles like where Susan Collins was talking about it, and there's other mainstream articles, and they're starting to use some good wording. Remember those words that we were looking for, where it's just like general individual American being hit by a remote microwave. So I've got a lot of that to show you guys, which is very very hopeful. Um, it's very very hopeful stuff. Um, so let me go ahead and read this, guys. Okay, so dear sirs, so this would be, send it to both of these people, and I'm gonna put the link to this tweet right in my description, and then you can kind of go off of this. I'll probably just send pretty much what she's sending. It's really good wording. Dear sirs, I am writing to you to express my sympathy and concern in regard to our government personnel who have been grievously harmed by high-tech, covert directed energy weapons, such as microwave, which are classified as weapons of war as well as weapons of mass destruction. I did not know that they were classified as weapons of mass destruction. Wow, I did not know that. I did not know that. I am glad to see that Senators Collins, Shaheen, and Rubio rushed legislation out to address the dire medical and financial needs of these public servants. Seems like it seems like since Karen worked for the NSA, it seems like she's going to fall into the category of people that can get monetary and health assistance. I'm like when she writes stuff on Twitter, maybe she'll talk about that stuff, or maybe she's trying to figure out if she's in the running for that, right? But with the new wording that they're using and a lot of what Susan Collins is talking about in some of these mainstream articles, it seems like they're kind of flowing in slowly, right? Because I'll tell you all about this theory on the next video. When I show some stuff, I'll go to that theory. I've been depressed, being like, wow, they're just going to pass this over and keep on saying this isn't happening. But things are a lot more hopeful, right? My targeting is really bad. I'm like, there's a time limit on how much my brain can take, and these programs need to stop. So I get, but there's tons of really good stuff's happening in the background, right? And we've just got to push. We got to push from our little corners, send our testimonies in, just flood it and decompartmentalize the silos, right? Okay, so I'm glad to see that Senators Collins, Shaheen, and Rubio rushed legislation out to address the dire medical and financial needs of these public servants. However, it has come to the attention of many in the public that not only are our government servants being attacked abroad, as well as shockingly inside the United States, but there are strong indications that retired federal workers and civilians are also reporting similar assaults and being diagnosed with similar neurological and brain damage as that suffered by those 130 or so victims the government is now focused on exclusively. The numbers of non government affiliated victims seem far larger than the verified victims, and there seems to be little interest thus far in pursuing possible acts of war being perpetrated on civilians all over the country by a heretofore unnamed enemy, be it foreign or even domestic, who have possibly stolen U.S. weaponry. I don't think anybody stole U.S. weaponry. I think that contractors under agencies are doing this, but I think that that's a smart way, right? Like I'm writing the State Department, and I'm actually probably going to accuse them in my letter. And I don't think anybody. We shouldn't do that. We should do what she's doing and just put it forward, right? Put it forward. They probably already know, but don't accuse them when you're writing to them, right? It's a way to do that because Karen knows that nobody stole U.S. weapons, that this is organized. Um, Due to the silent and horrifically damaging effects of such covert weapons, citizens and even authorities across the country are in danger. Yeah, the whole fabric of society is in such danger with this directed energy neuroweapons Cold War and mass experimentation in like every country. Like the nature of humanity is at stake. Humanity is at stake. And I think that sounds kind of like that's being dramatic because we're still at this point here. But if you can see down the road a couple of years, the future of humanity is at stake. What we are in the future, will it be determined by a technocratic oligarchy who can just change our brains and make us into little productive robots, or will we retain our divine freedom, right? That's a big deal. It's a big deal. God has the complete the final say, but I still think, God puts it in my heart. God puts it in my heart, he can do big things, but he also works through us, and we have to, be in the world and not of it. Help people, but don't let it corrupt us, and don't let it overwhelm us, right? Which is tough when you're talking about the targeting. Almost impossible. Um, Okay, due to the silent and horrifically damaging effects of such covert weapons, citizens and even authorities across the country are in danger. We respectfully demand that a task force be set up in each state as soon as possible that reports back to the main National Emergency Do Assault Task Force entity in Washington to investigate such complaints by citizens who should be provided. Wait. The Do Assault Task Force entity in Washington to investigate such complaints by citizens who should be provided a hotline to experts who will recognize directed energy weapon assault descriptions and that such victims may be in need of understanding for severe stress. The patterns and practices of the attacks on civilians and their pets will likely resemble those reported by vetted victims, as well as the injuries being undeniably similar and unique. Please set this up as soon as possible for the sake of victims not yet recognized, still suffering horrific assaults daily, and for the sake of future victims to come if these attacks are not recognized and dealt with immediately. So great, great wording, respectfully, and then you just put your name, or you could maybe change up something, or maybe add something if you wanted to. But I think this is a great blueprint, and I'll pretty much be sending it. Like if Karen's like send this letter to Lloyd J. Austin III, Secretary of Defense, and the Office of the Inspector General, I'm going to do that. I'm going to mail this letter out if she's saying to do that, because she kind of knows how these departments work and who's kind of at the top, who would be at the top of all this, making some of the decisions and things like that. Okay, guys, short video. Just wanted to show you all that. I'll put it in the description. Much more to come. I got to move stuff. And I got a lot of cool stuff. Okay, yeah, that's what I want to tell you guys. Like I got a lot of cool stuff, like pictures of my grandparents when they were really young. Also, um, what else did I get? I got my grandpa's pipe. Like he had a little tobacco pipe. And some really cool stuff. I'll show y'all some of that on a video. And I gotta kind of help out with that. It's a lot of stuff. They accumulated so much stuff during their lifetime. My grandma and my grandpa. But yeah, I just wanted to make this a short one. Show y'all this. I'm gonna put the link in the description. This is great wording. And there's a lot of stuff going on where more and more people like in these higher positions, it's decompartmentalizing, right? And these testimonies are being heard. I don't think that anybody can just come out and declare that citizens are being experimented on, but by some of there's like this kind of flowing, like where they were saying government workers and stuff like that in mainstream articles, and now it's kind of flowing into Americans, individuals in the country using that kind of it's kind of going that way, right? And I said if we get a sentence like that, it's in legislation, it's over, right? Then they have to take care of us. They have to stop this. So weird because I hear my attackers on V2K, which a lot of it's chatterbox, but they're watching this. They're watching as like our like the Biden administration is investigating this. The CIA and the Pentagon and the State Department are investigating it, but the Pentagon, the CIA, and the State Department are at the head of the experimentation, right? Um, wrap your head around that. The foxes, the coyote foxes are guarding the hen house. I don't know why I'm doing the little finger thing. All right, guys, I love y'all. I just wanted to make this a short one. I might be checking out a lot more on Twitter. So if you do have something that's going on or like important news, maybe retweet it, tweet it to me on the tweets, tweet it to me on the internets. All right, guys. I love y'all. I love y'all. A lot more to come. Thank you everybody who has donated to me. I haven't become a rich man from donations to my little channel, but I really appreciate you guys that help me out. That money is so useful to me. Just to buy food and stuff, but then I have some put aside where I can work on projects and defenses and things like that. It really helps me out, like with those things, and then I can tell everybody else about them. Plus this awesome camera, which it's not as good as I want the one where it's like, but I think there's a lot to do with lighting, how you light everything, and I think I'm eventually going to get a green screen, for back here. It's going to be like, I don't know, maybe at the beach, like on the beach, and then the water behind me, or something like that. I think that'd be cool, like an ocean, like a beach, so we can it kind of have a calm atmosphere. I don't know. Still kind of thinking about those things, but I really appreciate it, guys. We need to do this. Karen's saying we need to do this. We need to do this. She's a very smart lady. She was, just everything she says about this is pretty smart. Um, but she said something that really stuck with me, and I like see it now in society. When she said it, I was like, oh yeah. She said, like, I mean, this kind of stuff, these programs and what they're doing to countries, it's just gonna divide people into a predator prey society. That's what they want to do. They want to get the people who are the predators, and then the people that they're gonna prey on. And it's like everybody's gonna be in either one of those categories. Which I thought was, she said that many years ago, and it was like major foresight on everything that's happening, not even just the targeting. All right, guys, I love y'all. I'll definitely see you on the next one. Working on research, people sending me great information, and there's some really hopeful stuff in the wording that Susan Collins is using in some of these mainstream articles. In a big story, getting ahead of myself. I'll make another video, and but some good stuff. Please hang in there. Please, use defenses, supplements. Just hang in there, because it may seem like they just like are totally ignoring us at this point, but taking care of these governmental workers and stuff. But the dominoes are falling. It's just not like right afterwards, right? And I was getting really depressed. I'm like, oh man, this is just going to keep in the mainstream. It is, but it's just taken a long time. It's taken longer than like, hey, here we are, we're being murdered, and we need immediate medical help. We need immediately our tortures to get off our brain so it can stop the brain injury and concussion. And it's kind of that like stuff's happening, but we need immediate like medical attention. We need to get back to our lives and stuff like that. We need to start talking like that too, because we're in a different place. We're in a different, I wouldn't even say a different chapter of this whole targeting mess and of our lives and everything. We're in book 3. We've had Star Wars and the New Hope, and then the Empire Strikes Back has been these last couple of years for me at least. I feel like we're going into Return of the Jedi here. But the beginning of the Return of the Jedi was pretty tough. They all had tough jobs to do. They had three. There was like 3 things, and then Luke had to fight that. The Emperor was like, no, no, and he was like, no, I'm not even gonna go to my head. A lot of stuff had to happen even in Return of the Jedi. All right, I'm gonna stop that metaphor right now. But y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. We're in a whole different, place with this. So I'm gonna be doing this and sending it to these 2 addresses, and I recommend that we all do it. And put some pressure on these agencies. Just put some pressure on them. We're pushing up, right? Like, well, I'm not gonna talk. I won't go into that. Okay, guys. I'll definitely see you on the next one. I love y'all.